Today's episode is going to be about Super Bowls. Now, I did 5 of them for the UPI radio network, but 2 of them stand out, and they really could be 2 separate shows. So I'm going to make them into one. I think the most important one, as far as what came out of it and people remember, is the Doug Williams Super Bowl 22 in San Diego. And we were committed to a lot of programming in San Diego and at any Super Bowl. So we covered a lot of things. But Tuesday is media day. On media day, the players all come out, no pads, they come out in uniform, and they have 2 separate sessions, at least they used to. The one team comes out in the morning, the other team comes out in the afternoon. All the reporters get down and we talk. And during the week, they hold other sessions, minor sessions where, the reporters are there all week. So they had, minor news conferences and that kind of stuff. And Doug Williams, who played at Grambling and was playing for Washington against Denver in this particular Super Bowl, got a lot of questions about being the first Black quarterback in a Super Bowl. And, he'd come a long way, and he was like, James Harris was, made his mark. And now it was Doug Williams' chance to make his mark. And there's been a very big misconception. Even Doug Williams misquoted it later on. I was there. I was standing 3 feet away from the reporter who asked this question. And I think if you know about this Super Bowl, you know where I'm going with this. And that there's always been a lot of controversy about, there was a TV reporter. There was probably about 75 or 100 of us there. Doug Williams was sitting in the bleachers, about halfway down the bleachers, and all of us were gathered around. TV crews had their microphones over top. We had our microphones in the middle. Anywhere you can get newspaper reporters standing like this. Some of them even had tape recorders, which wasn't very popular at that time for a newspaper or magazine reporter to actually carry a tape recorder. But so anyway, we were going on with this, and it's been mentioned that this TV reporter either asked, "How long have you been a Black quarterback?" or something along that line. And I really feel bad for the reporter because that's been misconstrued. That is not what he asked. He did not ask Doug Williams, how long have you been a Black quarterback? Nothing like it. What he said was, and he paraphrased, and he could have said it better. That's true. What he did, he paraphrased the question he wanted to ask by saying, and I want to get this right, you've been a Black quarterback for a long time. And he started to go into his question, meaning his history of playing against the odds of being Black as a quarterback in the NFL and everywhere else, and was a long time thing, and something that everybody knew about. That's what he asked. He did not ask, how long have you been a Black quarterback? And Doug Williams, to his credit, jumped in to relieve him of this, because everybody kind of looked at the guy because we all heard, different things or interpreted different things out of what he was saying. And Doug Williams jumped in and said, "It's true. I've been a quarterback since high school, and I've been Black all my life." And he said that later on a radio show. But what he left out when he said that was, he finished that by saying, "And then I got to the USFL and I really got Black." That's the gist of the whole thing. So the reporter started to paraphrase the question by saying, "You've been a Black quarterback for a long time." And Doug Williams answered, "I've been a quarterback since high school, been Black all my life, and then I went to the USFL and I really got Black." That is the gist. So to rag on that reporter for what he had, I could have asked the question a little bit better. He could have phrased it a little bit better. But he's been maligned, and I don't even know who he is. He's a TV reporter. I could see his face, but he's been maligned for a long time. And maybe that even ruined his career. I don't know. I don't know what happened to him after that. But it shouldn't have happened. And the legend that carried on after that has grown into exactly that. It's grown into legend. Matter of fact, you can read Wikipedia, and it says, according to legend, Williams was asked this question on media day: "How long have you been a Black quarterback?" He supposedly replied, "I've been a quarterback since high school. I've been Black all my life." And that was on February 1st, on 2013. He was interviewed by Boomer and Carton on a show, a radio show, and he was asked by Craig Carton if the question ever happened, and he replied it was true, and of course it was. I was there, I'll tell you that. Williams said he thought the reporter was a little nervous. The question may have come out wrong, and no way was there any ill will meant towards him as Doug Williams, and there wasn't. There absolutely wasn't. This reporter asked the question to set it up, and he did not ask the question that he is attributed to asking. So I want to put that to rest. It's always been a major contention of mine because a man's career may have been ruined by what other people thought they heard, and he didn't do it. He didn't say it that way. My first Super Bowl was the Bears and the Patriots, 1986, and that was the massive blowout by Buddy Ryan's defense of the New England Patriots. William the Refrigerator Perry got a touchdown, a defensive lineman. They put him in to rush for a touchdown at the goal line. Walter Payton did not. And that was the big tragedy of that game that most sports fans felt, because Walter Payton did not get a chance to get a touchdown in that game. But yet William Perry did. And great for William Perry. It's a great moment in his career and his life. And he can say, hey, I got a touchdown in the Super Bowl. But Walter Payton never did. And Walter Payton is one of the greatest, most humble players to ever play the game. And the fact that Coach Mike Ditka allowed William Perry to go in the goal line to get the touchdown, a touchdown they didn't really need. I mean, they were blowing this game out. And not Walter Payton was kind of a tragedy. But even the bigger tragedy was the next day, because that's when a real tragedy happened. I had gone down for breakfast at the hotel where we were staying. This is in New Orleans. And I was sitting next to a table that had several New England coaches in it. And of course, this is the day that a lot of coaching changes take place. And I overheard, couldn't help overhearing, a transaction was about to take place. And I said, this is a scoop. I wrote the story. I was going to do it. I automatically called my desk, and the desk was frantic. Ken Robbins was on the desk, and he was the senior editor there, and he was just frantic. I said, Bob, I can't take it right now. I'm in the biggest Lincoln story of the century, or the decade, I guess is what he said. I'm in the biggest effing story of the decade. It'll never get on. I got to go. And I hung up. He hung up. I finished my breakfast. I said, well, I got to go back up to my room. I had a couple hours before my flight. I went up to my room, and the day after the Super Bowl, I turned on the TV, and Challenger had just exploded. 7 astronauts lost their lives. And that's what few people remember, the connection between those two. The Super Bowl happened the very next day, Challenger. So there's no real euphoria from the Super Bowl for a lot of folks, because had to live with the fact that this major tragedy, first in the, well, not the first, but the biggest in the American space race, space program, had happened, and Christa McAuliffe and 6 other astronauts died in that crash. So my story never got on the air. Never even attempted it. They were wall to wall busy. Everybody was doing something. It was just a major story, obviously, and that's where that ended. So, but my main purpose in this one was to straighten everybody out on the Doug Williams situation, if you need to straighten out, you know. But I was there. I heard it. It's been on my mind for a long time, and I recalled it at that time that this was going to be something that I would have to remember for the rest of my life, because I'd have to tell the story again. I knew that, because this guy was going to be maligned, and he was. So anyway, there you have it, today's story, and we'll have another one for you tomorrow.